Today we are celebrating women leadership. So, without any further ado, let me tell you who is our special guest today. She has diverse experience in media and technology businesses across organizations like Apple, Nokia, and Google. She has lived and worked with people and organizations in India, London, Singapore, Dubai, and US. Her last stint was with Apple, wherein she had held three different roles over a span of 8 years as regional marketing head for the Apple services business, followed by country head for Apple India and as regional head for business development and strategic partnerships for India, Middle East, Turkey, and Africa. She joined Jio Platforms Limited in June 21 and spearheads Jio Entertainment Services as the CEO and the board member of JioSaavn. It gives me immense pleasure today to introduce to you Khushboo Yadav.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Khushboo, now to begin on this special note of women leadership and celebrating women leadership on this special occasion of Women's Day, I'd like to start asking you that what do you think helped you the most to make a career as a woman? What's the biggest factor that you feel that has helped you to be successful?
Sure. Firstly, thank you for having me here, and happy Women's Day to everybody here. Although my personal belief is that every day should be Women's Day. Honestly, I think it's good to acknowledge and have a day, but I'm a big fan of gender equality, and just from my perspective, so just calling that out up front. Also, coming to your question about success, my personal belief is success is very personal to individuals. What it might mean to you at a certain stage in your life or at a career stage in your life is very, very unique. From my perspective, the way I look at professional success, it's a combination of a bunch of things, and I don't feel like there's a secret recipe or a mantra for it. It evolves as you kind of go. For me, if I have to make a choice between a job opportunity or a learning curve that I can kind of work towards, it's three fundamental things. One, I'm highly inquisitive and I have the hunger to learn. If there is a job or a career opportunity for me and it doesn't push me out of my comfort zone to learn more, it doesn't work for me, right? So that's first. The second thing is, I think with organizations and the way the businesses are headed, it's really, really important that you be authentic and you have an ability to speak your mind, because you cannot be successful if you're not yourself, and the organization or your peer circle or the leadership does not encourage speaking or having a point of view. Last but not the least, right, I think more than anyone else, you have to believe in yourself. There will be multiple barriers, there will be multiple obstacles, there will be biases, etc. Since we're talking about women leadership, I think it's really, really important that you believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, you cannot convince others. So I think I will leave it with that.
Sure, I would say that was so wonderful to note, especially on how unique we should be and believing in ourselves no matter what. And so, I also like truly believe that we should celebrate Women's Day every day, not just one day. So
Mm.
I will also say that, yeah, that is so wonderful to note. So having said all of it, Khushbu, as a female leader, did you ever feel any significant barrier in your career? Like, have you ever been confronted with gender-related roadblocks? As so,
Yeah, I mean, the obvious answer is yes. I think we all live in a society, not only in India, but globally, where challenges like sexism, ageism, and other biases really, really exist. So I just want to talk about one. And those barriers were faced by me all through my past few years across different organizations. But in my point of view, right, I mean, this is one way of looking at things. Barriers exist across gender. I think what's important is A, to be aware of it, and B, to really have a strategy about not letting it act as a barrier. I'll explain what I mean by that, right? If you're not aware and are not able to do anything about it, you're stuck. But I think the way women specifically should navigate around this scenario is not kill their drive and pursuit to follow their dreams and to be successful along the way, just because there's a bias which is subconscious or conscious, which exists in a workplace. And secondly, along the way, I've been extremely fortunate to actually have worked with a lot of male colleagues who've been my mentors, who've been my sponsors. So you have to find your tribe and people who speak for you, right? So I think, just to sum up your question, yes, there have been enough and more barriers in India, globally, across multiple organizations. The key is really finding a way to navigate it and not letting it act as a barrier. And of course, the last thing is really talk about it as much as possible. Educate your peers, educate your women tribe, educate your bosses. Um, without taking names, I think I've met someone really good here at Reliance, in fact, who firstly came up to me and acknowledged the very fact that he has an unconscious bias for women. And I think just calling that out and having an acknowledgement of that just helps you navigate conversations and working relationships um, very, very differently in a good way. So I feel like that's another way of putting things out there.
Okay, so it's all about being aware and navigating ourselves in accordance to that. That is so great to understand that this is how we should navigate being in this world, where there could be certain uh, specifications, certain generalizations, and also. So, saying so, Khushboo, did you ever notice some patterns over the years about women at work, like things they could have done better? As you said that you have got your tribe, and we should be aware and understand our tribe and recognize and work. So, did you ever feel that women in your career, like around at work, they could have done something better to advance so?
Yeah, I think I have a few general observations, right? I've started as a youngster, gone through my fresher years, and of course, in a very different profile right now. Um, I think with women, because our roles in a day to day living are so diverse. I mean, you go from being a daughter to, a wife to a mother, and, like it just kind of keeps growing, and you've got multiple different facets. I think we deal with a few unique challenges in the workplace. My advice would be threefold, right? The first one really being everyone's dreams and success, like I said earlier, is very, very individual. It evolves based on different career stages or life stages. Um, do not give up on those dreams. I think we all, as women, specifically in India, if I talk about, um, we've got challenges in tier two, tier three markets. It really starts from all the way from education to wanting to pursue a career. I mean, there are certain perceptions about women taking maternity breaks or them not being able to, navigate both home life and a professional life. I mean, so on and so forth, right? There's plenty of examples. um, I think those barriers should not let the individual vibe or dream kind of go down the rabbit hole, as far as I'm concerned. If you have the hunger, like I said, and you believe in your dreams, you should try and overcome those obstacles. The second thing really is about with women in position where they can influence this perception, they should play a significant role. I feel like today I'm in a position where I can influence this to a certain degree, especially with people and cross-functional organizations or departments or my network within the industry I work in. And I think the conversation narrative really needs to change about women who can do it all. I mean, you can look at entertainment as a business, you can look tech as a business. I think we've got fairly smart women leaders, Indian names and global names, who've navigated multiple facets of their personality, including a home life and a very professional, significant career. So, I mean, we have to change the narrative. And thirdly, I think it's very important that you take your male colleagues along, right? So, while we focus on women and women tribe, I feel like we need to create an environment and a workspace where both male and female colleagues can work as equals, um, do equal responsibilities, but also there's no resistance to working together. Some organizations do it better than the other, right? But I think it's equally a responsibility to give that comfort to the opposite gender, to be able to welcome yourself or get invited into that crew. There isn't a boys' gang or a girls' gang. I just feel like we need to start working as equals and colleagues. So, literally, those three things, honestly.
Sure. So, Khushbu, as you just said, that it's all about working together and there shouldn't be any biases between a women colleague or men colleague. So, what do you think? Like, what are your thoughts on women supporting each other in their respective organizations also?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a true believer of women lifting each other up rather than pulling each other down and compete. Um, I think they should support each other where they can. I will say one thing, not at the cost of merit and competence, because that is what I've kind of survived on, right? I think work speaks for itself, and I think that should be agnostic of personality. Having said this, I think it's very important that women support each other in every way that they can. I always talk about two things. I always talk about having a seat at the table and having the power to negotiate, right? I mean, if you think about any brand, any product, any business today, uh, the audience or the customers include women. And if you're trying to make a decision or a product or a service to market to them or to get their satisfaction or their feedback or a share of their wallet, there's really no better person that than women themselves, because you have a certain sample size. Uh, Totally ignoring if you don't have women on the table. And when I say women on the table, I mean women in leadership across organizations. I think most biggest organizations struggle with that number today, and hopefully that number is going to go up as we kind of go. And secondly, I think negotiating for yourself, and by that I really mean having a conversation about your compensation, thinking that you're the right fit for a certain role. And I think this might be a generic statement. Sometimes we tend to undermine ourselves compared to some of our male colleagues, right? Um, so I know that's not a direct answer to your question, but hopefully I answered that.
So, yeah, I would say like we can understand that how we can work together as women and not pull each other's down, and so rightly said by you. So having said that, Khushbu, do you recollect that one women leader as a mentor, or that one specific woman for that matter who inspired you, and would you like to tell us how as a whole?
Actually, it's not one. I think multiple people have inspired me through the course of the journey. So, if I may take the liberty of calling out a few different stages, because you need constant inspiration, right? For me, it started at home with my mom. Uh, I'm from an army background. My dad was in the army, and my mom was constantly working. I have a sibling, right? So, it really started with her being a homemaker, but also working at NGOs and educating. And she took multiple jobs, including a teacher at various different locations, and we would travel every 3 years to a new location, right? So it really started with my mom at home. And then my first job at Google, I still remember I had my first manager, a lady manager. Of course, I had multiple managers, called Rohini Prakash, who was brilliant. I've had uh, I've had more male bosses than women bosses, but honestly, I think it's really not about the manager, but it's the people around you who kind of bring to life the essence of what you can deliver. I was fortunate to work with a lady called Tracy Hanley, who runs the overall Apple retail business right now. She helped me set up the India business, learned many, many things from her. I also really look up to another colleague of mine who is called Bozoma St. John, who was at Apple with me, was the CMO of Netflix, is a celebrated American Hall of Fame lady, and now just released her book, The Urgent Life. I'm very proud and happy to call some of these people my friends and also my mentors in the journey. Having said this, what I do want to say, right, although it's great to have women and female leaders, actually, my journey and my career has been inspired by mostly my male bosses. Um, right. And I think that tells you a lot, that you also tend to meet mentors along the way who have shaped your journey and who become sponsors for life and friends for life. So I'm not going to call out pretty much everybody, but yeah, I think I would say that's a very strong point, right? Like you can meet strong women along the way who influence you, but sometimes male colleagues and bosses can have equally strong influence.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like saying so that all the main colleagues, along with the women colleagues, helped you and shaped your career so much and has backed you in this success today. It's so wonderful to know that how originally it's balanced, and how fortunate we can ever be to be successful in our lives. So, in that same line, I'd like to ask that we have talked about, awareness. We have talked about the biases we might face. So, do you ever feel that, keeping all this in consideration, did you ever feel that you might made some mistakes in the way along, or you were, might have done something better in the way, or some learnings along the way that you'd like to tell us today, to the generation who is currently watching you or will be watching you all through?
Yeah, I mean, like any other person who would grow and, through the life stages and professional journey, I mean, many mistakes in terms of understanding people, hiring mistakes. I made mistakes in terms of some business decisions and deals. So, I mean, I think many, 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 right? So, it's really not to say that I've been a perfectionist. I don't believe in perfectionism. I think you make mistakes and you learn from them and you grow from them. You learn from others' mistakes as well. And it's a part and parcel of the journey, right? If I have to run an organization or a certain department today, I wouldn't be wise enough if I have not had failures, right? So the way to look at failures is we all make mistakes. It makes you who you are. It makes you stronger. I mean, I think there are lots of interesting sayings about it, but when you fail each time, you know what not to do next time, right? So that's still a value addition, is how I look at it.
Sure. So you just said so many things about how we make mistakes and we just grow from there. And we learned about where you come from and what all you face along the way. So, having said that, would you like to give some advice to the next generation female leaders who definitely look up to you and want to follow your lead?
Sure. I think, like I said, first and foremost, irrespective of what stage of your career or ambition or success means to you, uh, have the courage to follow your dreams, because resilience, perseverance, and hard work, nothing comes without hard work. Um, you know, um, you'll go a long way. Don't give up on your dreams. Um, in the spirit of repeating myself, right? Believe in yourself, because if you don't, you can't convince others, and have the conviction to do that. Um, if I had to like literally say five things, okay, so my third would be really taking people along, creating a tribe, honestly, because you have to have a support system. It may not be in your organization, it may not happen at home, it could be different circles of people. You have to have people along in the journey who keep your motivation high and keep continuing to inspire you. Um, and also, you know, learn. And last but not the least is continue to work hard. I think we all use word lucky very often, right? We were fortunate, etc. I think stars have a role to play, but at the end of the day, if your work speaks for itself, trust me, a lot of the biases have to be put aside at some point.
So true, so true. I'd say that you just talked about your support system. So, would you like to tell us a little about your support system, and how do you take care of yourself and maintain a good mental health?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a support system. It starts with my family back home, my parents, my brother, right? I was fortunate, like I said, to be brought up with very progressive parents who have stood by me till date. We're almost like friends as we've kind of grown through the years of our life. I do have a very good set of uh, female friends, my girlfriends, who I think work across different organizations. We support each other, we've been each other's cheerleaders. We talk about issues at work, we talk about helping each other out, right? So it all kind of stems from there. And of course, last but not the least, my mentors, my sponsors who've stayed with me over my career span. I still am in touch with some of my mentors at my first job at Google. I think that kind of keeps us alive, keeps you refreshed. You have industry and very interesting conversations that actually add value to all of us in the larger scheme of things. And to keep myself sane, of course, work is a priority. I think we also happen to work at a point in time at Reliance Jio, and of course across the industry where work is definitely a priority. But you do have to do a few things to keep yourself centered, right? For me, uh, I do make time for myself on the weekend to do things that I like, and I at least try and work out 4 times a week, which is something. It's not like I'm recommending fitness, but I think whatever works for you. My 1 hour of gym time, at least 4 times a week, is something that keeps me sane.
So incredible to know that this is how we can actually maintain a good mental health and a support system which keeps us going all through. So great to know about yours, Khushbu.
Thank you.
So this is a generation who is talking a lot about the support system, mental health, different advices that we should get from our seniors. So me, especially belonging from that mid 20s, asking for advice, would you like to give some advice to your 25 years old self and all the 25 years old guys watching you out there, and the mid 20s looking forward to you?
Yeah, well, if I do a flashback of when I was 25, what would I do better? Is how I would probably answer your question. Um, be a lot more confident by believing in my skills. Um, I'll give you an example, right? This is kind of a water cooler moment for me. Um, I was asked to be the country head of Apple when I was 30. I didn't believe that I could do it, but people around me and my bosses believed in me. And also, I mean, not to not acknowledge the fact, but I've been here since June 21 at Reliance Jio, and being asked to run a Jio Entertainment business, I think I'm extremely fortunate and grateful for the opportunity, right? So I think it all comes with confidence. The sooner you understand that that's probably the best makeup women will ever wear, if I may say so, I think believe in yourself and that boosts confidence. Definitely do that. Um, and I think it's at 25, I still don't remember being extremely clear about, I knew I wanted to have a professional career, but which path was I going to take wasn't very clear. At least I put a lot of pressure on myself about, if I've done marketing and I've done X, Y, and Z and don't want to go to general business. Um, I would probably ask individuals not to stress too much when they're 25 about figuring where they're going to be at 35 and 45 and beyond, because each year and every experience changes those priorities. So at times, as long as you're happy doing what you are, you're growing, you're learning every day. Don't put that pressure when you're 25. You will figure it out as you kind of go. Last but not the least, I think one thing I did right when I was 25 is I decided very early on that if I wouldn't work in an industry which is not my passion. And what I mean by that is I'm not a musician, I'm not an actor, but I loved consuming entertainment content. And of course, now we're in the era of OTT, etc. But I was very clear that I want to work in the music business, right? So when I was at Nokia, I moved from product and hardware to the content business, and then went on to work for Apple and now run entertainment here. I strongly believe that if you find a happy coincidence between your passion and your career opportunity, it feels like you never work a day. And it's kind of true. So if I look back 10 years from now when I was 25, then that's what I would tell myself.
That was literally eye-opening, I would say. It gives a vision and understanding to look at few things when we are 25 or maybe 30 also. So it was really great to know. So, Khushbu, would you like to tell something to the entire audience who would be watching you, be it on a celebrating women leadership or working side by side with men, recognizing your tribe, awareness, all of it that you have put forth?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for hearing me out and giving me this opportunity. I think it's my pleasure to be here and having a chance to speak with all of you. Um, and, if you have to take anything away from today and my conversation, uh, please do believe in yourself. I wish everybody a lot of success in terms of pursuing their careers, pursuing their dreams, not really giving up on the opportunity. Um, and last but not the least, although it's Happy Women's Day, let's make every day a Women's Day. Let's lift each other up and celebrate equal diversity and equal workforce as we kind of go along. Thank you.
This was a really, really special and insightful talk. Thank you so much, Khushboo, for joining us today and squeezing this episode in your busy schedule and to share so much of your inspirational journey. If you like this video, please do hit the like button and share it with your contacts. For more such content on JioEvents Studio on tech, cultural, and insightful talks, do subscribe to our channel and follow us on our social media handles. Don't forget to hit that bell icon to never miss an update from JioEvents. Adios and see you on the next one.